How can we make the world better? By making ourselves better. The Dr. Joe Show explores how you can make positive personal change by using his groundbreaking and highly effective I Am approach to understand who we are and why we do what we do. Your small changes can have big effects.
Join us now for the Dr. Joe Show with your host, Dr. Joe Schrand.
Welcome, everybody, once again to the Dr. Joe Show, exploring who we are and why we do what we do, based on the concept of the I Am approach, that we are always doing the best we can, influenced by our home domain, our social domain, our biological domain, and our I see. How do I see myself? How do I think other people see me? And it's an important concept, especially in a world where there's so much tension, so much conflict, so much concern that the other person is somehow broken and dishonest and untrustworthy. And that may be the best they can do. But we can look again at who they are and why they do what they do. And think about those words for a moment, folks. Look again, reverse them. Again, look. Again, to repeat something, look like a spectator. Let's respect who we are and why we do what we do. And it's especially important tonight because we have a remarkable guest. I'm going to introduce her. And the show that they are doing right now at Company Theater really exemplifies so much of the stigma that we've been fighting against addiction and substance use. So let me introduce our guest. In 1978, our guest and her colleague and dear friend, Jordy Sorselman, created the Company Theater in a church basement with a budget, guys, get this, of $50 upon the request of a group of arts-starved students from Weymouth. Company Theater rapidly grew into a full-fledged nonprofit organization with a mission of entertaining and educating thousands of enthusiasts from the greater Boston area, now tens of thousands. Originally from Chicago, our guest actively pursued filmmaking, photography, and fine art at the Art Institute of Chicago's teen program. Her paintings and photography were exhibited in Chicago and the Atlanta Museum of Art. She continued her education at Webster College and the Kansas City Art Institute, where she won the prestigious Kansas City Film Festival not once, but 2 times. She has directed nearly 200 plays, musicals, and workshops of original performance art, most of them alongside Jordy, who we miss and we will talk about. Our guest has been recognized by the City of Quincy for arts education, the Independent Reviewers of New England, the New England Theater Conference, with a Lifetime Achievement Award for excellence in American theater. She is a 5-time award winner of the prestigious Moss Hart Award for Best Production in New England. Her original works include Gloryland, the America Show 1990 Moss Hart Award, and the historical musical Paragon Park 2012 Moss Hart Award, and Born to Do This, which I saw all of them, 2023. Right now, tickets are still available, but going fast because she is producing Jagged Little Pill, a must-see musical based on the 3rd studio album by Canadian-American singer Alanis Morissette. It is with the greatest honor that I introduce our guest for tonight, Zoe Bradford. Zoe, welcome back to the Dr. Joe Show.
Thank you. Woohoo! Yes. Oh, Jill, what a lovely introduction. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. You have so much depth and insight, so I enjoy our conversations.
And so do I. It's about the theater, right? I mean, what is a more amazing art form than live performance in the theater?
That is so true. I mean, I grew up an only child, and I, saw a lot of film, a lot of movies, on Channel 9 from Chicago, because I was just a lonely kid who found such solace and entertainment and laughter in all these great old movies. And that's what really stimulated me. Jordy, my longtime theater partner that you've talked about, she did theater as a kid, and she adored that. So when I met her, we sort of fell into some theater stuff together. I tell you, there's as much as I love film, and I still do, there is nothing like a live performance because you are there in the room. You're in the room where it happened, just like they say in Hamilton. It's there's a energy, there's a heartbeat that's happening amongst all the people who are there. Somehow you're all connecting. You may not all be feeling the same thing, but you're all connecting. You're all experiencing something that you're only going to see once in a lifetime, exactly like that. And that's very cool.
That is so true. It is that once in a lifetime, even though the show may be going on for months and years,
Years,
it's
yeah.
that one moment. I was getting goosebumps listening to you talk about theater because, I also have that personal experience of being up there. There's nothing like it, folks. But being in the audience, it's so magic when you see those people up there really risking everything. I mean, they don't know you. You're a stranger in the audience, and there are these performers up there, enthusiastic, determined to please you as that audience.
Right. Right. And that there's something about that that's so remarkable. I'm really not an actor, though. Of course, have to know how to act because I have to coach, but Jordy was really the greatest coach. But she could get a performance out of anybody, I'm telling you. It's fun to have somebody come in the door and they're a little bit unsure, or they may have a concept, but your concept is a little different and you develop it together. I mean, there's so many different aspects to just that part of it. It's really stimulating, and film is fleeting, and you see it and then you turn it off, whereas theater just has a life to it. And I think I loved the camaraderie. So much of what film is about is post production,
Yeah.
pre and
Yep.
post production, and that's just editors in dark rooms, and and people building up the show and all the publicity and stuff. But it's different with live theater, and I really did fall in love with it when I started doing it. So and I some of our shows have sort of a film-like quality to them. Projections are very big these days. Actually, we hired a very wonderful artist from Jamaica Plain who created visual effects for Jagged Little Pill.
Yeah.
But basically, we still build scenery. We do a lot of that too. I love seeing levels and staircases and things with atmosphere that create a world. You get to create a world. We get to create a world every other month over at our place. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
And you do, and they're remarkable and memorable worlds. I just want to get to the film for a moment because there is such a difference. Because with film, rarely it's one and done in terms of the shot. Very
Right.
often, most of the time, you get a chance as a performer to repeat it until your director says it's great. With live theater, it's one and done, man. You're up there. If you can't go back in time
No.
on the theater and say, excuse me, let me just do that scene again. I love that line.
Yeah.
But I do want to just give a shout out to film just for a moment because I'm going to boast. So I don't know whether you've seen The Odyssey yet, but folks,
I'm dying to see it.
it's an incredible movie. But please stay for the credits, because in the credits you will see assistant music editor Rebecca Schrand. Yeah, that's my youngest daughter, who is the assistant music editor for the Chris Nolan production. It's really worth seeing. And of course, I'm boasting. So what can I say? I'm a dad, but it's really worth seeing. But with live theater, I just remember because I did live theater performance. I actually can't remember any of my performances because I was so in that moment. Afterwards, you hear the applause of the audience and you realize you've done something. But it's really, at least that was my experience. It was really interesting because you're so focused in that moment, getting that done and being that
Right.
character and being that person and performing with your colleagues. For me, that was all I could focus. So my limbic memory part was really focused on just my lines and my blocking. But it's a remarkable experience.
It is. And you know what one of the challenges is? Well, when we first started, First we were a youth theater for, like 2 years. Then we quickly grew into an everything theater. Yeah, all ages. But, people don't understand that kids can do anything. Kids are, back then, I mean, people say kids are smart now because of all the technology and all of that. But back then, we saw the potential in kids that other theater people didn't. They were treating them too immaturely, basically, and we really saw that sparkle and capabilities and imagination and all of that kind of stuff. So, I love that part of it. And, since then, there are so many theaters that have sprung up all over the place post COVID now. Of course, the beginning of that trail off was tough. But, the important thing is it's tough. If you don't typically go to theater, um, and you see a show that's not very good, but you just have to go because your niece is in it or something like that, it can really kind of wreck your theater experience, and
Yeah.
that's unfortunate. So please keep an open mind because, yeah, well, when we do theater, it's a very professional approach. We want it's the entertainment and the interest and the value, the core values of music, dance, everything, or if it's not a musical, even the acting, whatever, it's all really vital to us. So always give theater a chance. Not to say that there's a lot of bad productions out there, but you know what I mean? There's sometimes people are just doing it for fun, and God bless them, and that's fantastic. But give theater a chance for sure.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Give it a chance because there are those core values. And what's really lovely about the Dr. Joe show is we give our sponsors their chance to talk about their core values at least 3 times a show. So with that in mind, let's take a break from scene one, act one, and let's hear our sponsors' core values. We'll be right back with the Dr. Joe show and Zoe Bradford. And we are back with the Dr. Joe show, exploring who we are and why we do with Zoe Bradford from the Company Theater. Zoe, offline we were talking a little bit about again that experience, and I just want people to know that I am a season ticket holder at Company Theater and have been for years and years. I'm trying to remember how many of my kids were in performances at Company Theater.
At least 3. I think 3.
I think 3. I think 3
Yeah.
out of my 4. I think the only one didn't was Jason. I think Sophie was
Right.
there,
Right.
and Galen, and Becca, and I
and
even got a
Becca.
chance to be on stage with you guys, and I think it was Christmas Carol years
It
ago.
was Christmas
And
Carol. It was wonderful.
right, and my son-in-law Brendan Mulhern,
Yes.
was in the Monty Python show. So
Right. That was
so
so much fun.
it's
He's
just
a very talented improv artist on his own in his own right, and he was wonderful. But what is kind of delightful, Joe, is there are certain shows, and then not a lot of them, but something like A Christmas Carol. If we are able to cast a whole family, it's
right.
really fun for us. We feel like we're giving that family a sort of a special memory gift
Yeah.
of the holiday that they wouldn't normally have, and then they get to share it with others and all of their friends and family. It's really cool.
It was so cool because I was in it, and Galen and Becca, we were all
Yeah,
in the same production. It was so much fun. So, folks, I'm telling you, keep your eye on Company Theater because they're always looking for performers and actors, and you've got summer
absolutely.
camp. And
We
um,
welcome people all the time, and it's not like you have to have a lot of experience. I mean, maybe even no experience. We take people who are green or people who are vintage. It doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? You just come, you audition, you try it, and we have a whole academy of the Company Theater where we train everything from 5 to ageless. You know what I mean?
yeah,
All ages. We have
yeah.
plenty of adult classes too. So if you want to learn something about acting, you can do that. It's just, it's great. We always wanted to have an educational component, and Jordy and I realized after we had become so successful so quickly that we had to have our own place, and that was of great sacrifice, of course, and difficulty and challenge. But it all turned out fantastic in the way
What,
it was supposed to.
what was the sacrifice, difficulty, and challenge about that?
Oh, Oh, good Lord. Okay. So we were when the Nickerson, which was what it used to be just for 8 years, we've been there for over 30 now. But, when that was going in business, it was a small, very what I call safe theater. It was, kind of like they do the Mousetrap or some kind of Agatha Christie thing, maybe one little musical with only like 5 people in it. Um, Arnold Nickerson was running it with his it was attached to a machine shop, which was perfect because we were able to convert it to a whole machinery uh,
Mm.
for our technical purposes. A scene shop, and we have classrooms and all kinds of stuff because of our attached building. But anyway, when he went belly up, he went bankrupt. He took people's money for season ticket holders into the next year. People were angry. The building was $1.2 million in debt. He had taken a second mortgage. And so basically, we were homeless. We'd been at the South Junior High School for almost 10 years, but then they closed and tore it down. I offered to buy it, and they said no way, which was great because it was meant to be where we are now. But uh, so we didn't have any place to perform. We were everywhere. We were all over the place, from Boston, Quincy. We were at John Hancock Hall. We were at North Quincy High School. We were at Rockland High School. It was very tough, and so it was hard to save money too. But we had, like I said, we have to keep saving. We got to get a down payment. At the moment, when it came available, we had a whopping $30,000, which is just laughable to think that the building was 1.2 million in debt. It was worth much more. So we had a lot of very, very creative negotiating with the man who was holding the second mortgage, not Nickerson. He just ran away, basically. And the bank put me through it. They
Wow.
were torture. They didn't, and then there were a lot of people vying for it. And we had a great reputation that really helped. That really, really helped. 30,000 isn't enough to buy a several $1 million building, but we convinced them. It was really tough.
If they
And being a
trusted you,
woman,
right?
it made it harder.
Oh my
I
gosh,
had
yes.
a
Right.
musical director at the time, Michael. He was very well spoken. I took him with me to all the meetings. He'd wear a suit. We just did everything we had to do. We did a lot of meetings, and
Um,
convinced the Boston Ballet to become our tenant.
huh.
And so they renovated part of the building. The bank tried to sell it to them. They said no, not unless Company Theater is going to own it. We just want to rent.
Boo.
There was a lot going on.
I- And look
But
at that, right? I mean, everything happens for a reason, but
oh, it does.
you know, it's it's such a great space, and it's such a great
It's
theater,
beautiful.
and it
Yes, we've
really
done a
is.
lot of work on it.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we've really upgraded all of our systems. A show like Jagged Little Pill is very high tech, so that's a big part of our lighting system is all state of the art because we have lighting classes and we train people and so on. Our lighting designer is Dean Palmer. He's from Rhode Island, and he can actually focus lights from his home in Rhode Island.
Oh my
We're
God.
that technical. I'll just see lights
Wow.
moving when I'm all by myself in there. I'm like, what's going
That's
on?
so how do you select the shows? I mean, how did you select Jagged Little Bill? And some of our
Well, I
audience
tell
may
you,
not.
our technical director Ryan Barrow, who's so creative, had seen it when it was at ART, directed by Diane Paulus. It
Mhm,
became an international sensation when it was here in Cambridge, and it was very, I thought it was very appealing and interesting. He was obsessed with it. He went and saw it like 8 times, and I said, "You're so obsessed with it. I got to know what's going on with this. Tell me more about it." He told me about the challenges of it and the whole thing. He said it really speaks to this generation, to the current generation of people from 20 to 40. He said it's powerful and relevant, and the music is fabulous. I mean, who doesn't love Alanis Morissette's music? If you like any kind of pop or rock music, she's just out there as the best. So when I saw it was garnering all these awards, went on to Broadway, so it just became available at our level a year ago, and I jumped on it. I wanted to be the first, and we are in the area.
Great.
to do it because I knew it would be an artistic achievement. Sally Forrest and I directed it together, and
Great.
she's the choreographer. I don't do that part of
Mm,
it, and she is brilliant.
brilliant.
It looks so interesting, and the show just keeps moving. The sets are very movable, and the projections are a big star in it too. I mean, let alone the great performances. So it's a high tech show. I like the challenge of that, and it's also a show that speaks to people.
Yeah. So I have a story about
Oh,
Jagged
great!
Little Pill. Um, when was it at ART? It was like in
About
20
4 years ago, maybe.
something like that. Maybe yeah,
Yeah,
maybe a little bit more. But
maybe
I
a little
was
more.
so I got a phone call
Oh yeah, it was about
from
6 years ago.
about
Yeah.
6 years ago, right? Uh, I, I actually I think even more because I was at High Point Treatment Center.
Ooh,
I was the medical director of all the child and adolescent services. And one of my board certifications is addiction medicine. So I'm triple
right.
board: adult psychiatry, child and adolescent psychiatry, and addiction medicine. And I get this phone call from the ART asking if I will
Ah,
talk with them. And I
yeah,
wound up talking with Diane Paulus, and it's pre-production
yeah.
of Jagged Little Pill, and she wanted my opinion as an addiction specialist. Is this accurate?
Oh, that's wonderful.
Is this accurate? So she sent me the script and everything,
Yeah.
and I reviewed it, and
Mm.
made some comments, but that was my involvement with it, and then I got to see it on Broadway
Oh,
when they brought me to
wonderful.
Broadway within the first week or so of it opening. So I
Yeah.
so I had this real personal investment in this show, especially because not just because of Diane Paulus, but because the willingness to talk about this subject.
Right.
And
Right.
I'm not sure everybody understands why the title Jagged Little Pill. What's your take on that, Zoe?
Right. Because well, of course, it's based on one of her songs. But I feel it's just the trauma of addiction
Yes.
is so it affects everybody around you.
Yeah.
That's a lot of what the show is about. And of course, she's our addicted person in this is a mom. She's a lovely mom from Connecticut, not unlike a lovely mom from Hingham or Cohasset or Marshfield.
That's
You know what
right.
I mean? It's the
That's right.
same thing, classy mom, but she was in a car accident, gets addicted to oxy and some other things and, painkillers. And then she goes down a very slippery slope thinking, well, I'm just going to cut back. I'm just going to do this or that. And she can't get out of it. Now she's raising a family. She's got high school kids and one of her it speaks strongly to me because one of her children is a birth child, but one of her children is adopted and is of color. So that's my situation too. I had well, all my kids are adopted, but basically, but all three of them. But when we had the daughter, we adopted her when she was 12.
Mm.
So and having
Wow.
a black child grow up in a predominantly white world is very challenging. So there's
Especially at the
that,
age of
and
12,
obviously
adopting at
the
the age of
jagged part
mm,
really plays into nothing in life is smooth sailing. You're
right.
gonna have all these things you're gonna have to like little mountains that you're gonna have to climb over. So her husband has problems, she's got problems. Her son has a challenge in the show because he witnesses a sexual assault at a party and he doesn't know what to do about it. So it's this sounds like super heavy show, but the thing about it is, Joe, is you have to be able to accept the fact that this can happen to anybody. This could be happening to your neighbor. This could be happening in your family. This could be happening to a friend. And that if you don't look at things through a lens where you can laugh at
Yeah.
yourself and have hope in a situation, then you're not then that's the time to give up. You can't give up. You've got to be able to find humor in things, to find love and forgiveness. This show is all about, forgiveness, because, in the heat of the moment, people are saying things and doing things that they maybe normally wouldn't do. And if you are the one who's on the receiving end of these things, you have to just say, I forgive you. I know you weren't yourself.
Yeah.
We all love each other and we're going to move on.
It's so true with substance abuse in particular, but the forgiveness and the hope are such important aspects of this. And I know that we're maybe a minute over, so I hope our sponsors forgive
Oh, yes.
me
Yes,
for
yes.
being a 1 minute over. But I also hope that everybody comes to see this show, and hope that our sponsors are right there as well. So we will take another commercial break, but we'll be back with this really invigorating conversation about Jagged Little Pill with Zoe Bradford. We'll be right back with the Dr. Joe Show. And we are back. Yes, we are. We are back with the Dr. Joe Show and Zoe Bradford talking about Jagged Little Pill. Zoe, first of all, how do people get tickets?
Yes, well, it's easy enough. You just go to companytheater.com and you will see, and remarkably, you will see a lot of ways to buy tickets. Don't go to anything except for companytheater.com. It might be the fourth or fifth drop down, because you're going to see things like event ticks and Tickets Are Us or whatever. It only can be companytheater.com if you're buying them online, because people buy occasionally people will buy our tickets and then scalp them, basically. Well, all the theaters are having a big problem with this. Or you can visit our box office. We're open Mondays and Thursdays. Or you can come 2 hours before a performance. We're open then too. You might be able to get tickets at the door. We can't guarantee that, but sometimes you can. And we also do a student rush too for those who can't maybe pay the full price. So there's a lot of options there, to get tickets. But just be careful that you're going to exactly our website.
Yeah,
at
it's so important.
companytheater.com.
Companytheater.com.
Yes.
And that's theater RE or ER?
It's RE. Thank you, Joe, for that. Yes, that's good. And we're opening up again on Friday. We're running Friday through Sunday, and then 2 more weekends after that. So we've got a nice month-long run. These actors are so into it that it's wonderful, because we can just watch it develop more and more.
Right.
And it's an emotional show, so we got to gear up. But it's also a fun show to perform. They're having a blast. So that's good too.
That's great. There are a couple of things. You were mentioning Oxy, which, folks, is OxyContin. And I just want to give you a little bit of information about OxyContin. So this is how the opioid crisis really started. Right? It's back around 2009, 2010, 12. So if you took OxyContin and you converted all of the opioid medications, OxyContin and Percocet, and into Vicodin. Do you remember the TV show House, right? So in House, he's addicted to Vicodin. Vicodin is an opioid prescription pain medicine. So if you converted all of the opioid prescription pain medicine that was prescribed around 2012, and you converted it to Vicodin, and Vicodin is about 5 millimeters long. It's tiny. You took all of that and put it end to end. Enough OxyContin was prescribed in the United States so that every single one of the more than 300 million people could have one pill every 4 hours for 3 weeks. And if you took all of that and put it end to end, it would reach from here to the moon and back.
Holy cow.
That's how much was overprescribed.
Wow.
And that's why we now have the opioid remediation fund money, the Sackler settlement, because we didn't know, but we're responsible as physicians. We were prescribing it, but we had no idea how addictive this medication was. But think about that. From here to the moon and back.
That's crazy.
How much was
that is absolutely crazy.
Yeah. And it's chilling to think of that. But we do. So now, we have still
Yeah,
prescribe it, but we're so much more cautious. And we know that a lot of people
that's
don't
good.
really need the opiates. I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about this, the story you were telling me offline about your own pain and
Yeah, I mean,
that story.
I am the I don't hardly even take a Tylenol unless I think about it. I am just so not a drug person, Zippo, and I narrowly escaped a back surgery, and I was basically like crippled and in so much pain. And my doctor said, I'm going to give you one oxycodone so that you can get through the day. And I took the one, and my back must have been all knotted up and it relaxed, and I didn't have to have the surgery. It was like a gift from God. I'm telling you, it was like a miracle that I won. And I wouldn't have taken more than one because I
Right.
knew, I mean, I'm not an addictive personality anyway, but the pain was so excruciating, I can't even explain it. And
Yeah.
that somehow that unfurled things. I think it
Yeah.
helped to relax it a little bit. And then when I went in for the pre-op, they said, you can go home. I'm like,
Wow.
oh my God. It
Yeah.
was just, I wanted to cry. It was so beautiful. But so,
And
I mean, anything used the right way
exactly.
might be okay.
That's exactly right. Used the right way. But in Jagged Little Pill, that's not really what happens.
No, not at all. And pain is tough. We've all had our share of it. I'm sure anybody who's listening to the show has had something go wrong, and knows that things, pain can be so debilitating. So that's a tough theme to look at. But this character is a super mom,
Yep.
played by Dana Sullivan, super talented actress. And she said, and she is a nurse practitioner, actually.
Oh,
um,
that's
and so
fantastic.
I think she has a good knowledge of this stuff, you know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
she's seen it all working at the hospital and so on. So, she's had a great handle on the role. And
Mm.
we all just keep saying, this is it's the foundation of meaningful relationships when you can say, I understand what happened. We're going to help you get past this, you know, it all will be well, but you have to just, whew,
Well,
tough
it,
one.
yeah, especially when it comes to this subject, because we have so stigmatized people with substance use issues.
Right.
We've so stigmatized it, and the shame and the guilt, and you know, it- from my perspective, though, addiction is not about morality; it's about mortality. It's just the way the
Right.
brain is, but it's shameful. There's a
It is.
chapter 12 in The Little Prince, an incredible children's book.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
Chapter 12, the little prince meets a tippler, which was the old name for an alcoholic who's
Mm.
drinking. And the little prince, I'm paraphrasing, says, why are you drinking? And the tippler says, to forget.
Oh,
Is to forget what? It says, to forget that I am ashamed. And the little prince asks, ashamed of what? And the
yeah,
tippler said, ashamed of drinking.
yeah,
And that's what happens.
it
This is
does.
not a moral issue, though. It's brain. But Jagged
Right.
Little Pill takes all that neuroscience, and that's why Diane was calling me, you know,
Mm.
and it is accurate. So that's
Yes.
what's incredible. It's accurate, but now we can share that with millions of people, with audiences, so you can get a window into what this woman's world was like without judging her. And
Right.
instead
Yeah,
with that
Dana, I actually even
compassion.
have a quote from Dana when
Okay.
she said people may come expecting just like a concerty kind of thing, and oh, the music's just delightful. So that absolutely it's going to be so fun to go to it, but they're going to discover this intensely human story about a family, she says, navigating challenges that many people face but don't always talk about. She says, as a healthcare provider, I see how shame and stigma can keep people isolated.
You know,
But that was very important. I hope audiences leave feeling a little less alone and remind that healing begins with honesty and connection and compassion. I thought that was a beautiful quote, so I thought I'd
wonderful.
share it
Thank
with
you.
Dana because she really, understood it. For me, um, it's all of the stories. The high school kids. I see so much going on with our own, students and everything else. So I love all of that aspect of it too. All the stories are important within it, So, it's I think that part of it is very
It-
fun too, because, kids have a different take on things, and, it's
well,
it's just a different world for them.
absolutely. And drugstore theater. I mean, that's part of what we're looking at is the addiction world that kids are in.
Mm,
But just to come back to that word shame, the reframe for me for that is you wouldn't feel ashamed if you didn't care,
right,
right? If you didn't care what other people
right.
thought about you wouldn't feel shame. So, audience, think about that. You have an opportunity. The way
Yes.
you perceive someone, the way you treat them, to help them manage that shame, because it's not about whether they're a good or bad person.
No.
It's what's going on in their brain. And,
Right.
that's why I was so thrilled when I saw that one of the shows you were doing this year was Jagged Little Pill.
Oh, that's
But
great.
and I thought,
Yeah.
yes, we have an opportunity to really share this window into what this world is about.
We really can. And life is fragile. It's unpredictable. Her music is got really poetic lyrics a lot of
Mm,
times. And so and also, there's a whole relationship issue. There's also, gay themes, gay and bisexual themes with the daughter and her best friend, and then there's a breakup, and anybody who's ever experienced somebody how they would consider maybe being cheated on or being broken up with, the way we go through all that too. I mean, that's another huge, part of it. The daughter's girlfriend sings "You Ought to Know," it brings the house down. Oh my goodness, because
yeah.
there's so many people in the audience who not only just love that music, it's a
Mm.
great song, but they're like, yeah, I remember how it feels you know, when that happens too. So, boy, emotion city over here.
Yeah.
Fun stuff though. It's great to feel it.
Yeah. And as an audience member, um, I think the audience comes together as well with this shared experience. The performers are giving us this opportunity, but sitting down in the
Right.
audience, you're sharing it with complete strangers, which is just the most incredible
Isn't that,
experience.
yeah, it's so special.
It
It
really
really
is.
is.
It really
I,
is.
I love that part of it.
You
I
know,
know the show won multiple Tony Awards, Grammy Awards. So, it came at a time when it was needed. And it's an important piece. It's not a piece that, a lot of people are going to be doing. So I say if you have an
Mhm.
interest in it, go. I mean, Alanis Morissette was just in Marshfield. What? Just like about a week ago,
I
doing
didn't know
at the
that.
yeah, she was at the Levitate Music
Oh my
Festival.
gosh, of
She flew
course.
in, she flew
Of
out on a
course she
helicopter,
was
I
in
think, and
levitating.
boom,
Of
boom, boom.
course,
Uh,
I should
and
have known.
um, we talked to her agent quite a bit, and she did send us luck and love, which was very nice. She said break lots of legs, but we didn't get to see her. We were hoping we would, but some of my cast members went to the concert, which was great, and uh, that her music is timeless. I'm telling you that people were wild.
Yeah,
And it was packed. You couldn't even move in the fairgrounds.
yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
said it was literally wall to wall people. So that's so great too.
It was, and
That her
that's
music has withstood the test of time. It's really 90s
yeah,
music, and
yeah.
speaks to today's generation as well as it did 30 years ago.
Absolutely. And
Isn't that great?
shout out to Dan Hassett, who puts Levitate together, and it is timeless. The only thing that really is not timeless is our need for a commercial break, so that we can
Okay.
listen to our sponsors who have timeless products. So with that in mind, Larry, let's take a commercial break. We'll be right back with the Dr. Joe Show and Zoe Bradford. And we are back with the Dr. Joe Show in the final act of this episode, but not the final act of the Dr. Joe Show, I hope, with Zoe Bradford of The Company Theater. And offline, we were talking really not just about the show, but about the mission of Company Theater in and of itself, and how you're bringing community theater to this vast array of people. But tell us a bit more. What's going on with the
Yeah.
theater?
Let me tell you a little bit about that. Well, we're a 360 seat theater, and we've been in business since '78. But we've been in our theater since '92. So we are into our 47th year, believe it or not.
Wow.
Many, many, many things. Of course, I directed with Jordy, but Sally and I are a great team as well. Sally has many gifts, and we have a musical director who also does our education, a lot of our organizing as director of education, Robert McDonough. So we have a great team.
And a
And
shout out to Michael Hammond. I wanted to
yes,
hear
and
his
Michael
voice. Thank you,
Hammond is
Michael. Right.
developing. He is
Yep.
director of development. He does a lot of our
Yep.
marketing stuff, and he's so creative and awesome. He has such a mind for thinking outside the box, which is wonderful. We love that because we try to be a vibrant collaborative.
Yeah.
That's really fun. The most fun in the job is when we're all sitting around and we're throwing around all these ideas and everybody's contributing. It's a really wonderful thing. In fact, I have been saying to audiences when I get up to if I introduce myself and welcome them to the show, we're putting together we're replacing our stage floor right now.
Wow.
We'll be doing that over the holiday, over the Christmas and just winter holiday.
That's got to be
we've worn it out.
That's got to be a huge
We have-
endeavor, though.
Oh my gosh! So we have to replace all of that. We had to replace all the black cloths, which they call legs. We had to do upper work with all of our fly system. So we had to raise. We put in for grants, but unfortunately we didn't get a facilities grant specific for that. So we had to raise 100,000 on our own, and we're getting close to our goal over the course of a year, which is beautiful.
So
I think we have about 15 or 16,000 more to raise.
Okay, how can people contribute, Zoe?
And people can just go once again to companytheater.com,
Yeah.
and there's a drop down for donations, and you can just do that or just drop by sometime and mail in a check, whatever. But we it's all tax deductible, of course, because of our nonprofit status.
Really
And
important, folks. Tax
so
deductible.
we're in the process of doing all that and fundraising. And our mission it continues because we really want to inspire people because sometimes we do theater. We want to inspire our audience to appreciate the arts, to enjoy them, to have fun, to have community within the arts, so that if they're not participating, at least they may be just like bringing their family to it, or their best friend, or it's a date, or whatever. It's so welcoming. We really have kind of a family, almost like a family atmosphere. Or I just love it to be really friendly for everybody who's involved there. So we strive for that. We cultivate the creativity. That's the secret. And as long as there's an enduring appreciation for the arts, then we're still going to thrive. We couldn't do what we do, especially with a show like Jagged Little Pill, which is a little bit unusual. It's not Oklahoma, and that's great because it's thought provoking and fun and interesting and beautiful music and important messages, but it's creative and it's interesting and it's different. And if our patrons didn't support us in these creative endeavors, then all these artisans wouldn't have the opportunity to work. We hire so many people, Joe. It's fantastic. We have lots and lots of independent contractors, musicians and artists and stagehands and just everything. And isn't that great to provide jobs in the arts?
Absolutely. And the company theater, I don't think people have, and I don't know why they would, an appreciation of what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, the magic happens. When we make it happen, but we don't want you to know how hard we had to work to get it there.
Right.
We don't. We want it to just be awesome.
And that's the part. One of my mentors and teachers was Will Leach, from way back when I was at Sarah Lawrence, and he said, if the audience is thinking during the show, you haven't got your show right.
Right.
You're not meant to be thinking. You're just meant to be absorbing and experiencing.
Yes, exactly.
Right. And that's not an easy task to do, folks. So
No.
I hope that in the intermission and afterwards, after you see the show, you'll appreciate really what just happened.
Yes, that's what I love. Even if it's, something light and fun like Shrek that we just did this year, or, or if it's something, serious like Cabaret, or if it's something, serious yet interesting and, provocative, or something like this, which just speaks to, the kids, adults, everybody. Though it's not for young children, I should just add
No,
that
no,
in.
no.
It's so many
Definitely.
adult themes, but it's fine for junior high and up. A little bit of language, but it's
So,
it's
so I'm curious. So,
good.
so I know you're there at pretty much every performance. You're in the back. I always see you there. Near the big spotlight. What's it like for you, Zoe?
Oh, if you want to talk about addiction, Joe, I think I have become, totally addicted to that thrill of an opening night and knowing that everything has come together.
Yeah,
And I can sit back and be so proud knowing that some performer who maybe it's their first time on stage, to some magic that we're creating, to this unique musician that's in the in the pit, or it could be anything. But when everything comes together, it's just like, it's a wow factor every time. It
yeah.
really, I never take it for granted, just like I don't take our building for granted. I think maybe that's one of the secrets to carrying on. And I just, I always want to be involved in it in some capacity, as long as I'm not in the way. I
That's
really want to
right,
keep
right.
creating. It's
They'll
fun.
they'll they'll move you out of the way if they need to.
They
I'm
will.
sure,
They believe me, they will. Yeah.
right. It's an incredible experience, and it is not OxyContin, it is oxytocin, that the neurohormone of trust
Oh,
and happiness, and that's what you share. That's what you share with everyone, and that's the experience up on stage.
oh,
It's
that's
this
nice.
incredible biochemical rush. When you hear that audience giving you that round of applause, there is
Wow.
nothing like it. Nothing
Yes.
like it ever.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
the funny thing, Jordy was such a nervous Nelly. She presented herself so confident to everyone, and every time we had an opening night, she'd say, "Is it any good?"
Right.
Every time, and I just
Yeah.
laughed my ass off
Yeah.
until our very last show of Fun
Yeah.
Home, and then she turned to me and said, "This is good."
Oh,
So that was
oh,
like a milestone for me. It was
God
really beautiful.
God bless you, Jordy.
Yeah,
You know,
really
there's
cool.
I just want to get to the two questions in the last
Yes.
couple of minutes. So the IM is saying we're all doing the best we can, as I said at the beginning of the show, influenced by these four domains: the home, the social, the biological, and the IC, the way I see myself, the way I think other people see me. Because these four domains interconnect, a small change can have a big effect. We don't need to change everything. Folks, when you go see a show, it can be a small change with a big effect. So, Jordy, based on what we're talking about tonight, what small change can you recommend to our listeners?
Wow, that's such a challenging question. Um, I would say, oh, take a chance on doing something that you maybe wouldn't normally do.
Mm,
Especially if it's something creative.
yeah,
I would say, don't ever say I can't. Just try to say, yeah, maybe today's the day. If it's something that interests you, maybe just go ahead and you might surprise yourself.
yeah. Take a chance. Look,
Take a chance.
next time there are open auditions at Company Theater, take a chance.
Yeah,
Go and
that's a perfect
audition.
example.
Go and audition.
Absolutely.
You're right. As one of my guests said, life is short, but it's the longest thing we'll do. But
Yeah.
you got to take those chances. So that's a great small change, folks. Take a chance. The second truth of the I am, everybody's got one. Everyone is interested through their IC domain, what you think about them, which has an effect on their biological domain, because it feels
Mm.
different when you feel respected or disrespected. And because you are part of someone's home or social domain, the second truth of the I am, you control no one, but you influence everyone. and you get to choose the kind of influence you want to be. Zoe Bradford, artist, director, creator of company theater. What kind of influence do you want to be?
That's an interesting question. And I think our culture has possibly maybe left a little bit of faith behind, and I'm not talking about religion particularly at all, but having faith in what you can do, what others can do, faith in that people are going to do the right thing, faith in the fact that you can do something you didn't think you could, or that I think I want to continue to give people a sense of faith within a community, and if that's a religious statement, then it is. If it's not, that's okay too. But
And
just having a faith in something or
and
whatever, I
faith,
think that's good.
my feeling, faith is the enactment of trust.
Yes,
really
yes, that's a good way to put it.
Is about theater. Folks, Zoe, thank you so much. Folks, go make that small change and buy a ticket today.
Woo-hoo!
Company
I love it.
Theater. Go buy a ticket. Zoe, thanks so much.
Thank
see
you.
WHED, thanks for having us. See you next week, folks.
Bye, everybody.
Go, 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 go.